Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Senior Bitches, where we travel the world interviewing some of the most radical women on the planet who are daring to age unapologetically and on their own terms. It's kind of a revolution. You should really join us. Now, today we're going to delve into the magical world of beauty and health and all the options that are available without going under the knife. And I am finding, as I interview more and more women, that about 60% of the women cough up their procedures and their treatments. These are women over 55, and the other percentage do not. And in full disclosure, I had a treatment done yesterday that I've never done before. I was a little nervous. Apparently this week is going to be a little tough, but then I'm going to look absolutely perfect after my face becomes a science experiment. So I'm totally into it. Now, our guest today has got his act together. He is a pioneer in the beauty and wellness industry, and the treatments that he is offering through his award-winning med spa, Beverly Hills Rejuvenation Centre, are insane. I had no idea about all the things you can do and be totally proactive and change your inward health and your outward health, and they're kind of integrated, so it's super, super cool. So get out your notepads. We are covering it all, from the newest techniques in injectables and stem cells and hormones to the new growing treatment, no pun intended, to enhance your male partner's penis. You're welcome. So please join me on this episode of Senior Bitches as we discuss all of this with our conduit to beauty and health, Dan Holtz. Hi.
Hello, Mary Jo. Thanks for having me on today. I'm looking forward to spending some time with you covering all these great subjects. And what a way to start it off, right? Talking about males.
Yes, and penises. That's all we talk
that's
about.
right. What an interesting topic, right? We're getting right with it here.
Let's get right with it. I can't wait to talk about all of it. So many questions. And it's so great to have you here today. And, a couple of days ago, we did the pre-interview, and I had no idea about all the advancements in the med spa space, that you guys are actually dealing with the inner health and our outer beauty, because of course they're completely interrelated. And it's just an incredible space now for growth and development, what we can do without actually doing anything surgically.
It's so true. It's such an incredibly wonderful time with all of the tools that we now have to enhance your health and vitality without having to go through extreme procedures. There's incredible treatments that are between the hormones, optimizing hormones can make you feel so amazing again. So many women and men, for that matter, have had a kind of a misunderstanding of what hormones are, and they think about back in the day when they used to use chemicalized horse estrogens on females and that. And of course, nowadays everything's biologically identical, and there's amazing, really, really healthy ways to optimize hormones and make you feel so youthful again and sleep great and have great mental clarity and all these wonderful things. All your issues, health issues that you start to develop in your late 40s and 50s can all be handled, all go away. You can have quality of life comparable to what you had in your 30s again. And then, of course, with the great med spa treatments that we have now, so many natural ways to enhance your beauty without doing anything extreme. There's just so many great things happening right now.
I love it. It's totally empowering, and you cover it from head to toe, from optimal health to beauty treatments, and also, the internal, which I think is really cool. So I just want to start from the neck up, but the hormone things is such a huge piece of the puzzle, because that is going to be, and probably is, $1 billion industry for women, because we're miserable for 20 years. And, that's just a whole bunch of bullshit. So to actually be able to handle that and have something that's proactive would be incredible. So starting from the neck up, let's just talk a bit about injectables. Do we hate them? Do we love them? You were telling me about some super cool stuff, because I live in Los Angeles, so you can imagine the atrocities I see on the street. So just wondering, is it going up? Is that always level, the injectables, or is there fluctuation in that now?
Well, so there's still a lot of injectables going on. So it's a booming part of what we do. I think there's times when certain providers do a really good job of not overfilling. Um, and so there's providers out there that are very experienced that know better than to go, like if someone's got loose jowls and they're getting into their late 50s, it's very common to see people start to overfill, faces to the point where they're trying to tighten that loose skin and they start to overfill the cheeks. And then you end up kind of not really looking like you normally would look. And so there are cases like that where you can start to get overfilled, and product can shift and move around a little bit. And then there's other providers that really seem to do an amazing job that can kind of keep you looking great, as long as they don't go chasing loose skin. There's ways to address loose skin, and then there's ways to address a little bit of volume loss in the upper cheeks, and that can be, it's just when you start to overfill, you start to develop some problems. But there's also new filler, utilizing your own growth factors. It's very exciting.
This is so cool. You were telling me
Yeah.
about this. I love this concept.
Yeah, it's been very big in Europe, and it's just migrated over here to the US. We've got a plastic surgeon in Florida bought the rights to the whole entire US for this particular launch. It's called Endurit, and it's utilizing your own. Basically, what you do is you draw blood out of somebody, and they spin it in such a way that it captures so many of the growth factors survive and are maintained and utilized. You put a gel-like substance with this blood. When they spin the blood, they get this is called PGRF. So it's these growth factors.
I'm writing it down.
Yep. They put it with this gel matrix, and they cook it and create your own natural filler. And it is absolutely amazing. So when they put that filler in, depending on where they put it, it could be in a knee, it could be in a face, it could be in a shoulder, wherever there's degeneration occurring, right? So if we're talking neck up, face, just anywhere in the face, you can use this product. You inject it in, and it will hold and retain growth factors in that area for 21 days. And it'll just repair and rebuild and rejuvenate in a way that's kind of shocking. It's really, really effective. It really enhances your appearance, and it's very exciting times for filler.
And it's great for people who want a more natural option and actually using your own body to heal and for beauty. So does it fill in lines? Like, what is it? Does it smooth? Like, what's its main thing?
So, we talked about overfilling. There's just no danger of that with this product. Even if you put a whole lot of product in, you'll have a little bit of fullness, right? And then it starts to go away after time. But what you're really after is your own natural regeneration. And that's what occurs with this product. You're utilizing all your own growth factors and saturating this tissue with your own growth factors and getting a huge transformation of tissue regeneration. It's just amazing what you start to see.
It's amazing. It's like stem cells, and even neurologically, I mean, they're doing this, that we can actually heal and replenish and boost our cells and make them stronger than ever. That is hugely innovative. And so are you offering that yet, or is it in the future, or like when is that going to be available?
It's going to be available early March. So in a couple of weeks,
I'm in.
We're going to be,
I'm in.
Yeah.
Pen me in.
Oh, you've got to try it. And it's not painful. It's easy. And then when you do that, and then you enhance that with this procedure called cell sound, it's an amazing technology that is non-focused ultrasound, right? So as we age, what happens is our capillaries. So when you think about circulation in tissue, so about 2/3 of your tissue in your body is supplied blood via capillaries, okay? And as we age, one of the problems with all these capillaries is they develop plaque and the blood supply starts to diminish, and you lose that blood supply to the tissue, and then all of a sudden you start to see atrophy and all this in the tissue. What this does, this cell sound, it sends in these non-focused sound waves that rattle and shake all these cells. It's pain-free. There's no pain. It feels kind of strange, but it's not painful. And it shakes and rattles these cells so hard that it knocks all the plaque off of them. It brings back all your natural blood supply to all your tissue. You do that, and then you put the ender with it, and you are rebuilding that face. You are, and that, by the way, that works that way anywhere in the body. You're regenerating and rebuilding and repairing. You can use it anywhere, and the results are profound. I mean, it's really shocking what you can see in 8 to 10 weeks when you put the combination of the two together. It's a very, very profound transformation, and using your own natural growth factors to enhance all this.
When you were telling me about it, it sounded like angioplasty to me, like which is taking the plaque out of the arteries and everything for the blood flow. So I guess scientifically, circulation is the key to our brains, to our skin, to optimum health. It's maintaining that circulation and regenerating it, right?
You're right. That's exactly right. And by the way, this works anywhere in the body. When you use that cell sound on the abdomen, it literally knocks out visceral fat. It goes 10 centimeters deep, and it actually clears. So these sound waves make those fat cells shake back and forth. It liquefies the fat. It doesn't damage the fat cells, but it dumps them out. So that fat liquefies and literally becomes metabolized. So it's pretty amazing how you can take someone and knock a couple centimeters off their waist in one treatment, and it volumizes the healthy cells, because all of a sudden that blood supply comes back, and so you see skin tightening while losing and liquefying all this fat. So it's pretty crazy. It's like the best
amazing.
of both worlds.
Yeah, and the whole lipo thing, the lipo is so scary. When people go in for lipo, they die under the, the anesthesia or whatever. So it's so scary. But like the whole concept of this, like being able to achieve the inner and outer beauty, the body can actually do it for itself if it's directed in the right course. That's pretty amazing. We haven't been taught to think that way at all, right? It's all injecting and manipulating, but this is actually contributing to your inner health and your outer appearance.
Well, you brought up something very interesting. I know of a plastic surgeon in Newport Beach that was doing lipo, and he pierced the intestines on 2 patients in 4 different days. 2 patients ended up nearly dying from pierced. And so when you're thinking about it, there's no danger with cell sound, and it works so well at depleting that adipose tissue like that. It's amazing. So, why go take any chances, with lipo, when you can just take this easy, safe, no pain, and just lay there and let them do their thing,
Maybe have a glass of champagne, like hang out at the spa, but it's also not violent. Lipo is so aggressive. I've seen some videos on TikTok and you want to barf. It's like, oh my God, I don't care if I'm under something. That looks like an affront to somebody's body. I mean, it's aggressive.
Hey, by the way, let me treat you to a cell sound treatment. I want you to, let's get this set up where I want you to experience that so you can tell what I'm talking about. And I want you to have that. Just pick an area on the body that you want to enhance and tighten skin and get rid of some fat, and let's treat you to one of those. I'd love to do that for you.
It sounds sexy. I'm into it. I'm all into it. And I talk to women all around the world, like London, Dubai, France, England, for this show. So it's great to be able to share these secrets. So the truth is, like, all these procedures are for naught if your skin's not glowing. And I did my first peel at your spa yesterday, and I was super nervous. I did the VI peel. Is that what I would have done?
Yeah, I've done those before. Extremely effective.
Yeah, Heather did
Yeah,
it. It was great. I was a little orange yesterday. I'm a little tight today, but apparently
yeah,
like day 3, I'm going to be a science experiment, right? It's just
that's
going to
right.
peel off.
Well, it'll start. So you go from like today, it's tight and shiny.
It's
The skin
tight.
is tight and shiny. And
Yeah.
then tomorrow, the shine will start to go away a little bit. And then probably about Sunday afternoon, you'll start noticing, you start looking a little flat. And then Monday, you'll start seeing a little bit of lifting and peeling. Probably Tuesday or Wednesday, you'll be peeling like a snake shedding its skin,
Like dropping in
Pretty,
my food and stuff. It's okay. I'm not
oh
dating
man.
right now. I'm not dating.
Yeah. Now's the time to do it.
Now's
Yeah.
the time to peel all this shit off. I'm going to do
Yeah.
the cell sound. I'm doing all of it to get myself ready to get out there. But I'm really excited about this procedure because I have seen people do it over the years, and their skin after is just stunning.
It really is. And now a little note to you, don't pick or peel as much as you're tempted. Just brush a little bit. Try not to play with any of the skin when it's coming off. Just let it do its thing naturally, okay?
Okay, all right, fine. And I'm not drinking, I'm not smoking, I'm not having sex. I'm the perfect candidate for this. Seriously, it's good. So I want to talk a bit about stem cells because I find them fascinating. I don't get the plant stem cell thing, I just don't get the science behind it, but
Right.
the actual stem cells themselves, for regenerative growth, especially in skincare, and hair growth, because my daughter had alopecia, so I went through the whole thing. She lost like 60 or 70% of her hair. So I got a really great understanding of it. And stem cells are so essential in all these treatments. So are you a big fan? Do you guys use a lot of it in your treatments at your spa?
So we call it human cell and tissue product, right? So that's what we
Oh,
call. And human cell and tissue product is a combination of all kinds of growth factors, some of which are a product called exosomes, right?
right.
And
Okay.
and and then of course your Wharton's jelly that comes out of the umbilical cord. So all kinds of interesting growth factors are derived from, been used for various treatments. Like you could have, damaged cartilage in a joint. You could have just general degeneration in tissue that you want to address. Very popular, used in microneedling and this type of stuff to help
Right.
with skin texture. So we do work with all those products and see some pretty impressive regenerative um, it just like with skin texture, it's kind of amazing. You'll do
Yeah.
micro needling and then apply exosomes on the surface and just watch the texture just improve so much. So appeal, good, definitely good, but not nearly maybe as powerful as what you'd get out of micro needling with exosomes applied to the tissue. You'll get a much bigger change, so to speak, and with texture.
Yeah, no, I did that once with some stem cells, and I love the concept of stem cells. I think I understand it. They essentially bump up against the unhealthy cell, and they kind of metamorphosize it, right? Like they teach it how to
Yeah,
be healthy and regenerate, and it's really,
yeah.
like you said, for
There's
skin, for cartilages, for everything.
there's some amazing opportunities for healing and regeneration utilizing human cell and tissue products like that. And we've got cryo tanks that are minus 200 degrees Fahrenheit. We got the products right there in our centers and able to go ahead and do those treatments. Not all centers, but certainly West LA and West Hollywood, are centers that we utilize a lot of those products. So
And how many centers do you like? Are you the founder? Like, how many do you own? I know that there's quite a few across the country, or that you participate in.
yeah, there's 25 stores. We've got now 9 corporate stores, eight that are open, and one that will be opening in a few weeks up here in Las Vegas. So soon to be 9. And so the other stores are franchises, and so they offer most of the things that we do, but sometimes not all of the things that we do.
Yeah, I guess it's by region. And you brought up this thing at the beginning of the show about hormones and hormone replacement therapy. And I mean, everybody I know is either like my sister-in-law is 41 and she's perimenopause. I've got a friend 54, 55 right now, like her eyeballs are drying out, like she had an eyeball incident. She's kind of miserable. Like the fallout of this 20-year, sort of, well, it could even be longer, that women go through is insane. And we've really been discouraged against bioidentical hormones, that they're going to instigate breast cancer. They're unhealthy. I actually went to my doctor because my hot flashes were so bad, and he was going to prescribe me an antipsychotic, but it helped hot flashes. And I'm like, do I seem like I need that? And now that Oprah's in the game and it's a billion-dollar industry, if you could just do like an explanation that you gave me the other day about it, because I did not understand it until you explained it to me, what the hormonal replacement therapy can actually do for you.
Absolutely. So I'd love to. There's a great misconception out there. So a lot of women would say, well, I'm not doing those hormones because, it could cause cancer, right? So that's a concern. All right. So where a lot of that comes from is like, so just think about your whole life. Are you in your 50s right now?
Well, late
Or
40s. No, Dan, I'm
thereabouts?
61. I'm
Okay,
61.
61. I'm sorry.
But now
Now,
you're supposed to say something. I just said
well, you
61.
look
Now,
great for 61, and you do. By all means, you do.
not great for 61. You just look great. But go on, go on. I won't
You
tell you
look
what to
great. Well,
say.
then you're
Okay.
absolutely right. I'm so sorry. It's so true.
Okay.
I
Okay, thank you.
I don't look bad for 90, right? Right? Is that
I
right?
was going to say 87, so there you go. You look
Well, I tell you.
great.
So now we're even. You got me. Um,
Okay.
I, I will tell you that where women got misled on hormones was when horse estrogens were used on females, and that's very common to see. Mainstream medical will use a product. It's horse estrogens on human beings. And that's the way it's been for a long time. When you put a horse estrogen in a human being, it takes 47 days for that hormone to clear the body of a human being. When you use a biologically identical hormone, it takes 8 hours. So
Wow.
you would never put a horse estrogen in a human being
Or
and
a
ever.
man.
Oh, well, yep.
Yeah.
You just Horse hormones have no place in a human being, right? We have to work with biologically identical hormones. So now when we talk about women that say, well, I'm not going to take estrogen because I'm concerned about cancer or breast cancer. Okay, well, let's talk about that. So when you hit menopause and your brain realizes that there's not enough estradiol, which is the primary aggressive estrogen, right? There's not enough estradiol in the bloodstream. It goes into a bit of a panic mode and it says, I can't survive without estradiol. I have to have it. So it says, well, we're going to figure out another way to create it. So it sends a message to the liver for the liver to make a bunch of this called aromatase enzyme. Aromatase enzyme goes out into the bloodstream, circulating through the tissue, looking for fat cells. And the goal is to convert the fat cell to an estradiol hormone, right? As a means of survival. So unfortunately, what happens is breast tissue is made up of fat cells. So the body sends all this aromatase enzyme, it latches onto these fat cells in the breast, and now your breast tissue goes 4 times normal for estradiol in that tissue. And now your risk for breast cancer has gone through the moon. Basically, you're sitting there with a time bomb, essentially, and there's no way to shut it off unless you titrate small amounts of estradiol into the bloodstream through a hormone program. Little tiny amounts will stop that signaling. It'll make that breast tissue go back to normal, and you won't have 4 times normal estradiol level in your breast. And, so when I look at a hormone program, I say you're being protective. Now that's if you do it right, and if you supply the least amount of estradiol to get the job done. There's another hormone called progesterone that's a very protective hormone. You never supply the estradiol without the progesterone. They go in a balance, right? But I look at it and I say, I mean, anybody that I love in my life is always getting treated, because I look at it like we're being protective, and we're preventing these types of problems from coming along by doing low dose therapies, and just the transformation of the way you feel. It's truly amazing. I'd love to see you try it and
I
get on
want
the
to try it.
program, and you will be amazed. I tell you, the quality of life enhancement is shocking. It really is. It just,
Well, I
you
mean,
can
the
feel as good
fatigue.
as you ever did.
Yeah, I mean, the fatigue, the mood swings, like all that stuff, like women just suffer with it. And to all your points that you're making about this, the funding on this has been zero to minimal, right? Now it's
That's
starting to
right.
change because there's economic, tailwind behind it, but essentially nobody cared about this. And now
Yeah.
they're starting to do more research around it. But as I talk to my friends, of course, my mother went through menopause. She was like, oh, it was fine. She had a martini, she smoked, it was no big deal. But I know so many women who are suffering, and the big thing is fatigue and just this low grade depression, and everything
Right.
just feels low grade, just like a bit submerged, foggy. Foggy is probably a good word
Oh,
for
for
it. I
sure.
mean,
And there's just no reason to live that way. Hormone programs are not real expensive, and they're affordable. We've been doing them for 18 years. We're some of the pioneers in the field, and but it's affordable, it's great, it's amazing for quality of life enhancement. No more sleep disorders, no more energy deficiency, no more mental clarity issues. It's really, and another thing, by the way, all the hair on the female starts to come back. That estradiol will make that hair get thick and full again. I've had people come in that lost so much of their hair, and they're so upset about it. And a year later, all of a sudden they got their hair back. And it's a beautiful thing. It gets the skin glowing again, and so many amazing ways to enhance quality of life. I hate to see anybody not on a hormone program.
I'm starting it. I'm going to bring
Yeah.
some friends and start it because it's a whole bunch of bullshit that we're essentially saddled with this. So I love the industry's coming around to this, and because why should we be miserable? It's not really good for anybody
I
if
agree
we're
with you.
miserable. So I'm thinking about men, and I'm thinking if there's anything comparable that they go through. I mean, the obvious is hair loss and I guess erectile dysfunction. I was going to ask if there's a pill for that, but there is. Which brings me to male enhancements.
Yeah.
Now, I saw a picture or two of this procedure that through one of your treatments, is it lengthen the penis? Is it like thicken the penis? So many questions for this, so little time, but like what happened? And obviously when the penis gets erect, it's harder and bigger. So talk to me. I'm hanging on every
Yeah.
word. Go, tell me.
Well, so of course, it enhances length and girth, by. So once again, we're talking about that Endurit product, utilizing your own growth factors, making this gel-like substance, essentially making your own filler. It's the same filler that would go in your cheeks, ends up going into your male or female counterpart. So your
You're
sexual parts, right? So the
you're
female
tighter.
enhancement,
You're
that's right.
you're tighter.
So on the female, that gives way more sensitivity as well. So women who were struggling with orgasms and that can actually get all that sensitivity back, and really it enhances their life a bunch too. Well, not just the male. So the male, gets a lot more size, so to speak. I mean, it grows like dramatically. It's
Ooh.
the
Send
filler,
me
and
before and afters. When we get off the interview, send me a whole bunch of before and afters,
well,
okay?
I only have a couple of
I
pictures,
saw
which
one.
yeah, that's about all I have right now. But
Okay. Was that
um,
you?
no, no, it
Because if it
wasn't.
is, congratulations.
Well, thank
Congratulations.
you, thank you. Well, yeah, that's something to be proud of for sure, right?
Yeah,
But
it's impressive.
when you fix with males, they too have hormone deficiencies, and it's that by the time men are in their 40s, they have such notable testosterone deficiencies that
Right.
and that, believe it or not, can also shrink that male genitalia a bunch. When the hormone deficiencies are there, that genitalia shrinks and atrophies a lot. And so all of a sudden you put all this volume back in there, and you talk about a transformation of a human being, like the self-confidence and the
Right. I
and
bet
the
they're
way it
nicer.
functions.
Are,
And
are
with
they
all those
nicer?
growth factors in there, it enhances performance dramatically too. You put a good hormone program and then this enderate treatment in there, and oh man, you talk about amazing. What you do to a man is really shocking and making them able to perform.
That sounds like a gift card every guy should get. Now, do they have to do the blue pill with that? Is it good to do both? Or maybe
Well,
you might not need it. I don't know.
so I would say this about that. If it were snowing out a lot and you had a
Uh-huh.
car and it were a two-wheel drive, would it hurt if it became a four-wheel drive? And the answer
It would
probably would
not.
be it would never be a bad thing to have those extra two wheels. So here's what I would say about that. No matter how good things get, it would never hurt to have that little bit of extra blood supply that would come from that. That sildenafil is the drug that's used in that Viagra, right? So no matter how good things are, it would only make it even better.
Oh God. Okay, that's a tip. That's good to know.
Yeah,
That's good. And I think it is good for men's confidence, and maybe it'll give more positive energy. And, so it could be like, because I think sometimes their embarrassment around that issue could make them a bit grumpy. So maybe if
oh, for
they have
sure.
that confidence and a spring in their step and all that stuff, maybe they would spread the joy, they'd
You're
be
so right.
happier.
Completely agree with you. It's when a male can't perform, that puts so much pressure on him, and then of course, you know, it's a complicated thing. So if you got hormone deficiency, then you just don't even feel sexual at all. And
Right.
and by the way, I would say this, speaking from my own experience 25 years ago when I had hormone deficiency, I remember feeling like my partner was the problem. So as a male, I'm sitting here
Oh,
with a hormone deficiency, wondering why I'm not feeling heavily attracted to my mate. And I thought it was her. I thought the problem was her. So I want all these women out there to understand that when your male has a deficiency, a lot of times he's thinking privately it's you that he's not really drawn to. The truth is, when I fixed my deficiency, that same female became so attractive to me. I was completely attracted to her once again. I'm telling you, it was shocking because I was with this person and I thought to myself, she's the nicest, kindest, sweetest human being I've ever been with in my life. And I know she's beautiful. Why am I not feeling this attraction to her? And the
wow.
thought of being with someone new is exciting to me, but the thought of being with her was kind of like, I don't know, there's something missing in her that's not doing it for me. I honestly thought it was all her fault. And then finally, I fixed my hormone deficiency, and all of a sudden, her problem went away, right? All of a
Now,
sudden, it
could
was,
could you do a PSA for this, please? Could you get on the TV right now and do like a public service announcement? Because this is revolutionary, because this happens to men all the time, right? And
well,
that's what
it's
they're
so does.
thinking. That's what they're thinking.
This
It's a
is
woman.
Yeah. No, it's completely true. I tell you,
Yeah.
I tell this story all the time. I was blaming her for it. I was nice to her. I didn't really say anything, but I just did not want anything to do with her physically. I would actually act like I was reading a book and fall asleep. And she would
God.
literally be over there crying herself to sleep, thinking I wasn't attracted to her because I wasn't attracted to her. And I thought it was entirely her fault. Boy, when I fixed her problem, I became amazed. I'm still with that person today, 22 years later. This woman and I, we are just as close as two people could be. And I'm still so attracted to her. It's crazy. And it's just amazing how I thought it was her. I thought it was her. And here I was thinking, I don't know what's missing from our relationship. It was me the whole time. Me, when I fixed myself, we became the closest couple ever. We're still together today, having the time of our lives, totally attracted to one another. So for all these couples out there, I'll tell you, it can really mean the difference is shocking. Get your hormones turned around, get your hormones fixed, and watch your attractions come back. And it can make the healthiest relationship again. And I've lived it, so
Well,
I
it's
just wish everybody,
revolutionary.
yeah,
It's actually revolutionary. And even that you say that you blame the woman, duh, that's been going on for centuries, right? That we're
yeah,
the root of the problem. But the truth, it's hormonal. And the thing is, like, the biology of it, obviously it ebbs and flows. And when you get to a certain age, or you could actually have a predisposition to like a hormonal deficiency, that's what happens. But this is actually changing the biology of the male. And so
yeah.
that's kind of really cool. Like, I wonder if that makes for less divorces, more prolonged relationships, like deeper, intimate relationships, because you're actually experiencing the full-blown relationship, physical, spiritual, the whole deal. Like, that really is major. That's major.
There's no doubt in my mind that this is such a critical key component to having that. Look, the reason we get together, there's an attraction, right? And from a male's perspective, when we don't have any testosterone, we just don't have any self-confidence. We don't feel like that alpha that we're supposed to be. You restore those hormones, and we just start, the chest puffs back out again, and we feel like that alpha, and then we feel that attraction to our mate again. And wow, you talk about amazing changes in a relationship. I lived it. I would love to see anybody out there listening give it a shot. Watch the transformation, and just, you'll be blown away at what's possible. But
Right. And
it's
it builds
important.
trust,
You don't
everything.
you don't want to make that male super healthy sexually and then keep that female down, because then all of a sudden that male wants so much physical activity that the female can't keep up. So it's important that the couples both get hormonally optimized. It's important to do it together.
I think it's amazing. I think that makes total sense. Just like biology, like the mental, the physical, everything. Like, that is really super, super cool. And I'm glad that you're still with the same woman. That's amazing. 25 years later. Do you watch football
Well,
together? Do you watch football together? Do you like football?
you know what? Neither one of us do. I race cars, and I'm so nuts about that. She has no interest in car racing or football. We're very strange in that we don't really like those types of things, but we're both super hard workers. We both work all the time. We get together at 11 o'clock at night, is about the only time we see each other for an hour or two. And we're just like the best friends you ever met in your life. And we're just, we just really, I have no excuse. She's one of the most amazing human beings I've ever met in my life. I've just been so blessed to have someone so incredible in my life. Anybody would love this woman. So I don't have an excuse not to, but
Oh, enough,
we're
enough. I'm single. Okay, enough. Okay, I know. You have great sex. You're happy. All right, fine. Okay, next.
oh my gosh,
Okay.
sorry.
So tell me about the EE system, what that is. And you're about to
Oh,
open something in Vegas, and Tony Robbins might be involved. So what's
yeah,
going on there?
man, I tell you. So I have had so many interesting things happen over the last 25 years, with my health. And, I had hormone deficiency. I fixed that. I got so much better. And then I figured out better and better ways to do the hormone program so that it just made quality of life better and better and better. But then I developed another problem. And the problem was my shoulder joints wore out, and I have bone on bone in both my
Oh,
shoulders. Now I'm a heavy, I do a lot of weight training, and I use a lot of heavy weights. And so my bone structure just couldn't handle the load. I work with like the 120-pound dumbbells when I train on my chest. And so the shoulder joints just couldn't survive. So about a year and a half ago, I was in so much trouble. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't hardly function. I would
Wow.
pull up at a parking structure. I couldn't reach out and take a parking ticket out of the slot to go park my car. I had to get out of my car because I couldn't lift my arms. I was sleeping about an hour a night, and I'd have to get up and move my arms for 10 or 15 minutes, go sleep for another hour. It was essentially really my quality of life was in really bad trouble, right? And I didn't know what to do. I was desperate. Shoulder replacement surgery is not a good surgery. And I knew,
Just pick me for 1 second. You know, women
yeah,
have the same thing. It's a frozen shoulder, right?
yeah,
That, yeah, and which is just, I don't think it's bone on bone, but it's sort of the same sort of thing. It's like a real ailment with women over 40. And I went to see a doctor and he's like, we're going to surgically correct it. And I'm like, no, I got acupuncture. But it's interesting you say that. Like it's,
well,
yeah,
the
go
good
on.
news
Okay.
is the good news is you're not going to need that shoulder surgery now, because when you learn about this EE system, the answer is there. So I ended up hearing about through a friend of mine told me that, you know, you might want to go try the EE system. He said, I'm getting ready to try it. I heard about it, didn't know what it was. He said, you know, it helps with pain, chronic pain, and things like this. So I went into a center for 3 hours. I didn't notice a thing. I was completely disappointed. I walked out of there. I didn't feel any better, never seemed to do anything for me. And I called my friend and I said, you know, it was just kind of a joke. I just didn't really get anything out of it. And he said, well, that's really strange. My dad has Parkinson's. I took him in there and my dad was so blown away. He couldn't even believe it. All his tremors stopped and like he's
Wow.
shocked, you know. It's actually Dean Kane's father, okay, who has the
Superman? Is that the
Parkinson's. And
Superman guy? The actor
Superman, yeah,
Superman?
yeah.
Okay.
So Dean's
Wow.
a good friend. And then, so I thought, well, hell, I'm going to go back again and give it another shot. Maybe I just needed more time. I went back the next day for 6 hours. I woke up after sleeping in that room for 6 hours in the EE system. I was completely pain free. I did not have any pain whatsoever in my shoulders. I slept through the entire night the first night. I was the happiest human being you ever met in your entire life, figuring out that now I had a way to get out of pain and get my quality of life back. Well, little did I know that I had just discovered uh, the most powerful healing technology that I could have ever come across. The more I learned about it, the more excited I got. And the more I went, the better I got. And all these, you know, it's like my quality of life just got to be amazing. Like I just didn't have any pain anywhere in my body anymore. And then I started learning more about the technology and what it does. And essentially, what it does, it alkalizes your entire body. So it pushes your cellular voltage up to between 70 and 90 millivolts, which causes the alkalization of all of the cells in your body. So if you could think about diseases that really love acidity, think about that.
Yeah.
Acidic diseases, high inflammation and acidity is when your body is on low cellular voltage. When you
Right.
push it to high cellular voltage, alkalinity loads, so oxygen loads into all the cells. Highly acidic diseases go away.
Right. Is
So
this
think about
around
that.
inflammation? Is it all kind of around
Inflammation
inflammation?
is
Yeah.
gone. You don't
Yeah.
even know what inflammation is anymore. You spend some time in those centers, it's amazing. So Dr. Sandra Michael Rose is the inventor of this. She invented about 20 years ago, and it never really got to be out there in a big way until recently. She has now become one of my best friends in my life. I love this woman. She is dedicated to healing and helping every human on the planet. And she has just invented the most amazing technology. So for anybody in the world that wants to have the most amazing transformation of health and vitality. Go find an EE system. EEsystem.com is a website. They got locations. They got 300 locations in the US, and they've got them international as well. Tony Robbins and I are building a center right now here in Las Vegas,
Wow.
a super powerful 48 screen system. We're opening in 30 days in Boca Park in Summerlin here. And it is going to be mind blowing. I welcome anyone that wants to have a transformation of their life. Mention that they saw us on the show here, and I'll give them a discount. Make sure that they come and have a phenomenal experience. And it's a life changer like you could not believe. I'm so excited to have this in my life now. It's like the missing tool that I finally got that just took me to a whole nother level. It's shocking.
Well, what I love about a lot of the things that you've mentioned today, in particular this, that if somebody is in a lot of pain, they take a lot of narcotics, right? They take a lot of prescriptives, big pharma, like horrible. And to actually get into a situation where you alleviate pain and you do it naturally and you wean yourself off those prescriptive medicines, that's incredible. That's an epidemic. That's the opioid.
It's amazing.
Thing. Yeah.
The other day I sent Tony and Sage is Tony's wife. I sent him a picture. A cat got in a fight with another cat, and the cat got his eye punctured, and the eye got infected, and there was all this infection around. They took the cat to the vet, and the vet said that eye's got to come out immediately. We've got to sew that shut, and because the infection's going to kill the cat. After 48 hours in the EE system, that eye looked like it'd never been damaged ever once. If you see what this does, and you really learn what it does. I know of a doctor who was blind in both eyes for years and years and years. He went in, it regrew the retinas in his eyeballs. He's driving a car today. I mean, and these are true stories. I mean, go on their website, look at the studies, and it will blow your mind. Like, it's just hard to believe you literally just go take a nap in there, and ovarian cysts and things that just go away in a couple of hours often. Like, it's just amazing what this technology does.
That's incredible. I love it. And we'll put the information for people listening in the podcast. I've loved talking to you today. This is so fascinating what you're doing. And I love it's integrative, and you're using different techniques, and the idea of taking prescriptives out of it and using your own body to heal and be healthy and attractive is amazing. So when I interview people, I have two questions I always ask them at the end of the podcast. So I want to ask you two questions. Number one, what is the beauty in aging? And number two, what is your mantra, and has it changed over the years?
Well, the beauty in aging is you just, every day is another incredible moment to learn and grow. And I mean, to me, when I think about my youth, I think, it was fun being young and looking amazing, looking youthful and all those things. You miss that, but something, as you live and you learn and you grow, it just becomes amazing. The quality of life you learn, and you don't have those struggles that you don't struggle with the things that you used to struggle with 20 years ago. You're able to just, my mantra is, it all goes the way it's supposed to go. I fight nothing. No
resistance.
That's right. And see, of course, Eckhart Tolle was the guy that, he said it well. To me, what was such a big change, and once in a while I screw up on this, I'm not perfect with it, but I almost always, I plan that whatever is coming my way is here to serve me, whatever it is. I don't judge it. I just say, here it is. It came to me. So it's obviously here to serve me in some way. So before I judge it as being a bad thing, just know, why would the universe want anything but good for Dan Holtz? It put me here, I'm here, and I'm here to have an incredible life experience. It's my opportunity to learn and grow. and just plan that everything's going to turn out the way it's supposed to. So just sit back, smile, go, okay, I accept this. It's here to serve me. I'm not going to see it as a negative, and I welcome it.
I love that. That's how I think too. That's Michael Singer, The Untethered Soul. It's like we're, just bring it on. This is just part of the experience, and I love that. I love that mantra. Oh my God, you
Thank
have a good
you.
mantra. It was so
Thank you.
lovely talking to you today, and
Oh, so
everybody should
lovely
go.
talking to you.
Yeah, go check out the Beverly Hills Rejuvenation Center, doing all sorts of cool stuff, and we'll put information up after the show. But it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Same here, Mary Jo. I loved it. Thank you so much.
Okay, see you soon for all of this.
Okay. Sounds
Okay,
good.
bye.
Bye.